we are back with our Malaysia Regionals top 8 match B, I believe now, with two of very phenomenal players, one from Australia and one from Malaysia. It's gonna be an exciting match. Ismat,
Yep.
I'm looking forward to that.
Definitely, we have a player from Australia, being it Chris G. He's come to our Malaysia Regionals twice already,
Yep.
last year and this year if I'm not mistaken.
And he's actually number 11, I believe, in standings right now in Oceania.
Right,
Both
so-
of them actually locked up their invite already.
So he's trying to gun for that day 2 for sure. JSU just recently locked up his day 1 with 329 CPs if I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken.
By qualifying, being in the top 8 itself already sealed his invite for him.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure he's just trying to play for that gun for that brick if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, we have two phenomenal players right now. We featured JSU on stream yesterday for the final Swiss round. Whereas for Chris G, he was not featured on stream, so this will be his premiere, I would say, in our
Yes.
Malaysia VGC regional stream.
Yeah, and JS yesterday played his game against Brian Wong from Singapore there in Swiss round 6 brilliantly.
Yep,
so
absolutely.
It'll be exciting to see.
On the screen, if I'm not mistaken, that the teams are actually swapped. It
Yep.
should be JSU with the Metagross,
Metagross, yep.
Landorus, Gastrodon, Among Us, Rotom Heat, and Tapu Lele.
And Chris there is the one rocking that Mega Gardevoir there, Snorlax, Tapu Koko, Incineroar, Landorus, Therian, and Amoonguss.
Yep. In terms of matchup wise, that Gardevoir is going up against a Mega Metagross.
Yep, that's definitely scary to be facing down.
Yep, definitely. And then there's the potential of with Snorlax, for example. Snorlax, Amoonguss,
Yes,
such a big threat.
and of course JS actually revealed that his Tapu Lele is carrying the ally switch yesterday on stream as well.
Alright, that clutch ally
Yes,
switch.
Clutch ally switch.
Yeah, but in terms of matchup right now, I see that JSU does have only like 3 potential heavy hitters in the team,
Yes.
whereas Chris G has like all out,
A
I would say.
number, yes, a
Gardevoir,
number.
Koko, Incineroar, Landorus. We have to see what both these trainers decide to lead off with here.
Yes.
Both are carrying their Amoonguss. I think it would play a big role. It also depends on who can knock out their Amoonguss, I would say first, and also the Snorlax setting up, trying to pull off an end game. Also, it's very important for Chris to acknowledge that as well.
Yes, and I think the Landers as well on, I believe Chris's side of the field will be pretty crucial in this matchup.
Yep. In terms of a matchup wise right now, I don't see Jazz have anything to hit the Snorlax in particular with.
Yes.
So if Chris G can get the ball rolling with that Snorlax, properly supported with Amoonguss potentially, I think I prefer that matchup.
His matchup, yeah. And we actually see both players already selected and going into first game now. We have Metagross and Tapu Lele from GSDO's side of the field.
And then we have Chris G sending out the Landorus and Incineroar. Ooh.
Immediately we have Incineroar there pressuring without fake out pressure. We see actually double Intimidate lead here from Chris's side of the field.
Yeah, but that would be null because
yep.
the Metagross does have clear body. And we do see a game. Now we do see that the Intimidate does activate first on the Landorus compared to the Psychic Surge on Tapu Lele, which should indicate what kind of speed tier potentially they're both working on, I would say. Yep, another Intimidate coming out from the Incineroar. It's not going to affect the Metagross in particular. I would like to see what does the Tapu Lele have in store, because we know it was Ally Switch. It was revealed yesterday in the last Swiss round.
Yep, and immediately on JSDO's side of the field, that Metagross and Tapu Lele is immediately threatened by the Incineroar.
Yep, the Metagross Tapu Lele you're right, it's definitely threatened by the Incineroar. If the Landorus is Choice Scarf, it's very free to go for a potential U-turn if it is carrying the Choice Scarf.
Yes, of
Well,
course. The U-turn will definitely allow Chris to pivot and give him the momentum he needs.
Exactly, and I don't see JSU does have anything to answer the Incineroar right now. Maybe potentially the Gastrodon in the back. We'll have to see him bring it out right now, I guess. And we do see Chris G switching out the Landorus for Tapu Koko, trying to nullify the Psychic terrain to be Electric terrain to be in his Koko's favor. Now Koko is in a very good spot, I would say as well. And we might just see Landorus being switched in for JSU. On the Metagross side, was it revealed to be Choice Scarf yesterday? No, if I'm not mistaken, it was. It was. Yesterday, I remember.
For GSDO?
Yep, and we do see a fake out being launched off onto the Tapu Lele, so it was a very neutral turn, but in terms of board position, Chris G does have both Pokemon which are threatened by the Landorus on the field.
Yes, I think Chris actually led really decently during the first round, but JS there understanding that, you know what, I don't think the Metagross can stay in this situation, and bringing in the Landorus that is immediately threatening the Tapu Koko and Incineroar.
Yep, which is a very good deal, but he could also switch out. Chris G could definitely pivot one of his Pokemon into a Landorus as well. Doesn't matter. I'm pretty sure the Incineroar can be switched out into Landorus.
Yes.
And Koko could go for a Protect and take it away from take the game from there, I would say.
Definitely switching it into his own Landers for Chris G there, definitely providing that intimidate support and being able to recycle back that fake out pressure again would definitely be more beneficial for Chris in this.
And in terms of board position, Chris G does have more Pokemon which outpace, I would say, Jazdeo's sides. Jazdeo is more of a like slow, bulky, just slowly walling the team, and we do see no pivots from Chris G's side, and we do see a U-turn going onto the Incineroar, landing that critical hit. It was neutral, by the way, it was not intimidated, it was at the Metagross before, and we do see a U-turn onto
Tapu Lele. Yep. Chris actually deciding to stay in with his Incineroar there, and Tapu Lele, of course, overriding that electric terrain with its Psychic Surge.
A very gutsy play for Chris G to just remain on the field, I would say, with both his Pokemon in front of a Landorus, which you do see revealing it to be Choice Scarf.
Yes, and you know, I mean, it was pretty gutsy of Chris to stay in with both mons who were clearly very weak to Landorus, and JS actually swapping out into that Tapu Lele there, probably thinking,
trying to pivot, I guess, and we might just see Gardevoir is coming. We don't see Chris G bring Snorlax into the matchup. He brought the 4 offensive mons, I would say. Gardevoir, Koko, Incineroar, and Landorus. It's all revealed right now. And we do see a Flabdis possibly going onto the Landorus slot, I think.
Yes, Tapu Lele. Yeah, because of course Landorus was the bigger threat for that particular round.
My goodness, Chris G is like not holding back at all with the predictions. He basically thought, oh, the Landorus is going to run now for better board position. I'm just going to Flabdis a slot. And it paid off.
Yes. Of course, the Rotom now is in a pretty, I'd say, safe position, not really being threatened by
No, but you're not, the Rotom is not offering anything much on the field.
Yes, but it is sitting there rather safe. I mean, Gardevoir can't really touch it that much. And
if Gardevoir does have a Psychic move under Psychic Terrain right now.
Oh yes, with the Psychic Terrain from the Tapu Lele. Actually, the Landers back then, it was actually a pretty free Earthquake for it, but decided to run in favor of the Tapu Lele there and providing that Psychic Surge for the Gardevoir.
Yep. With the Incineroar at -1 just now, it did so much damage onto Tapu Lele, bringing it down to below half.
Yes, below half. About 60%, so yeah.
That should indicate what kind of bulk Jazdeau is running there. Probably not much, I would say. And we do see Landorus being switched in on that Incineroar slot. It's just straight up offense.
Yes, I mean the Intimidate of course not doing anything to both Tapu Lele and they wrote a Heat there, but definitely pressuring both slots.
Yeah, it's definitely going to pressure because we know that Chris G's Landorus is also Choice Scarf. It's already indicated right there. It could easily go for Hyper Voice and Rock Slides right now, or a Psychic move onto the Rotom Heat, I feel. Yeah, that's a good call. That, you see, with the Psychic
Terrain, yes, exactly.
Yeah, like I mentioned, and then we do see a Moonblast potentially going on to the Incineroar slot, yeah.
Ooh.
That did more than half, but now Jazdeau's board position is threatened with Landorus going rampant, I say.
Yes, Landorus is just in such a good position here. But of course the Landorus from Jazdeau's side providing the Intimidate support once more.
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, the Gardevoir on Chris G's side went first prior to the Tapu Lele. So now, at least the board state, Gardevoir, even though it's defensively weaker compared to its special defense side, Landorus can't pick up the one-hit KO on the Gardevoir on Jazdeau. So I think the board-wise, Chris G is in a better position, I would say.
I believe so too.
Yeah, even though the Landorus on Chris G's side is at -1, but the sheer offense on Gardevoir, beside
just pressures.
Yeah, providing the support that the Landorus lacks at the moment, will cover it up.
And in Psychic Terrain at that.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll have to see how does Jazdeau pivot away from this position, but we do know that he has the Metagross in the back, so he's got to make use of that somehow. He's got to get in a position where right now it will be Metagross and Landorus on the field.
Yes, of course, getting rid of the Landorus on Chris's side is definitely what Jazdeau needs to do now in order to safely bring in that Metagross there. Because the Metagross does check the Gardevoir.
Yep, and we do see Tapu Lele going for a Protect. What does Jazdeau go with the Landorus in particular? Is he going to go for a Rock Slide? We do see a U-turn on Chris G's Landorus going first. And we do know that Jazdeau's one has Choice Scarf, so they should tell, because it could potentially be a Jolly Scarf, both of them running to speed ties. So it's all the luck of the draw, I would say.
Yes, well, clearly we've already seen Jazdeau carrying that Choice Scarf, and for Chris there to actually move first will indicate that it's also running Choice Scarf. It could be a speed tie.
Yep, and we do see U-turn being dished out on the Landorus. Potentially, it's definitely going to go into Metagross right now.
Yes.
But Metagross in front of a Koko in Electric Terrain with Gardevoir. Chris G is just covering all of his outs basically. Like, oh, if Metagross were to come in now, at least I have Koko to pressure it. And Tapu Lele can't pick up the KO onto Tapu Koko.
The Metagross does pressure the Gardevoir, but it's staring down against that Tapu Koko in electric terrain, which is just going to do massive damage. If Chris is actually even carrying that Electrium Z there.
If he does carry the Electrium Z, I think you're not really threatened. You could dish it off, but this is where the mind game, right? Like, where do you switch your Landorus in? But if Landorus does decide to come in, it will eat a Hyper Voice from Gardevoir, I would say.
Yes.
And we do know that Gardevoir went first compared to the Tapu Lele.
Yep.
So I don't know if Chris G is willing to just burn off his Z move into the Metagross slot, but you do get a Hyper Voice off. Because even though if you burn your Z move, right, Koko could easily pivot into Landorus Therian in the back later, which is a very safe switch in front of Metagross and Tapu Lele.
Yep. But right now we see we see actually JS down to his last 3 months, but Chris, they're actually having all 4 months, and I think most of which are relatively healthy still.
Yeah, we do see the chat right now. Both of these players do have their invite, but Chris G is trying to gun for the Day 2 invite, the Day 2 Travel Awards in particular.
As we mentioned, JS actually already secured his invite by being the top 8, but Chris, they're sitting at number 11 in Oceania right now, is trying to gun for the Day 2 invite.
The Day 2 Travel Awards in particular, yep.
Yes.
And we do see the Volt Switch actually going on to Tapu Lele, covering his outs, I would say. And then we do see Tapu Koko being using Volt Switch, I would say potentially going on to Landorus.
I would say Landorus.
Landorus. Yeah.
Yes, you need the Landorus there to check that the Metagross. I mean, with the Incineroar and the Landorus, it just pressures. With the Incineroar and the Landorus, it pressures the Metagross.
Absolutely. And then we do know that Tapu Lele is already knocked out, and we do see an Iron Head going on to the Incineroar, not going for the Mega Evolution, potentially covering for the Volt Switch play. If you were to go into Landorus, then you will get intimidated.
Yes, intimidated. Yep, I was just about to say that. Of course.
And now with Incineroar back on the field, right? Like with no Psychic Terrain, Incineroar is very free to go for fake outs.
Yep. And we see JS actually swapping back into his Landorus there. Gonna actually launch off yet another Intimidate against both physical attackers on Chris's side of the field.
We apologize severely for the technical difficulties. We're trying to get the stream up and running once more. But from what I can see, it's back right now. But we do see Landorus being switched in on Jesdio. Jesdio is definitely playing from the back with a 2-4, but most of the Pokemon on Chris G's side are significantly chipped, except the Mega Gardevoir in particular.
Yep, now of course, GS has to do a little bit more. I think it is actually, in fact, a bit difficult already for GS deals here with that fake out pressure coming out of the Landorus, and you know,
we do see a U-turn being going into the Metagross slot. I would say going onto Tapu Koko, because Tapu Koko gets a free nuke if he does carry the Z move.
Yes,
if he does
onto
carry
the Metagross.
Yep. And we do the Landorus Choice Scarf. Incineroar is definitely going to be either a Assault Vest or Berry.
Yep.
I can safely assume that that's an Electrium Z Koko.
But we see the Gardevoir actually coming back in here.
What? If the Metagross does go for an Iron Head into that slot? He does!
And it does.
Oh, but it does not pick up kill because you do not have the Tough Claws boost from the Metagross.
Tough Claws boost.
But we do see both players, Timer in particular, are going to...
down.
They're going down in Timer. So Jesdio does have 30 seconds more of an advantage to Chris G, but I don't see him stalling it out.
Yeah.
You know what
I mean, for Chris there, swapping into that Gardevoir instead of Tapu Koko, the only reason I can think of is probably being threatened by that Landorus on GSD's side of the field. That's probably the only thing I could probably think of, why he would decide to swap into the Gardevoir. But in trading it in the sense where it takes a lot of damage from the Iron Head.
Absolutely, and we do see Landorus on GSD's side is free to go for Rock Slides. Yeah, he's just gonna go into Rock Slides, and I think he's just gonna have to go for those potential flinches onto Tapu Koko. But we do know that Chris G's Landorus in particular has gone first, like for 2 turns already. So I can presume maybe the luck was in his favor, but is Jesdio's Landorus adamant? That could also be a possibility.
Yep. We see the Metagross actually going for the Stomping Tantrum previously and missing because, of course, Landorus is off the ground.
Yep. We do see a U-turn going onto the Landorus slot from Chris G's Landorus. I would say going to put it maybe... He has to sack something here, either Koko or Incineroar. But it depends on what does he prioritize more. If he prioritizes Fake Out, then Koko will come in here, Koko. I presume. Yeah, Koko will come in here.
Chris clearly prioritizing that fake out pressure from the Incineroar there. Of course, being able to still dish out offensive damage against that Metagross in the long run.
I'm not sure what is Chris G playing towards into now, because I think he has to bring in Landorus at the moment. He's got a match.
He needs the Intimidate as well.
He needs the fake out support, I would say right now. We do see,
The
Incineroar
fake
coming.
out support.
Yeah. But if Coco does have the Electric Z, he does not have the terrain boost
Yes,
at the
from
moment to
electric
utilize
surge.
it.
Yep.
So if I was in the Metagross position, I think you gotta Mega Evolve at the moment because Gardevoir is what was knocked out before
You mean previously?
on Chris G's side, yeah.
I believe it was the Landorus.
And we do see Fake Out going onto Landorus. Coco might just go for a Z move. He has to go for it
He
here.
has to go for it.
But since Jesdo did not Mega Evolve, he's gonna take the not full blown. I mean, without the Electric Terrain boost, he's going to an unprotected Metagross base form.
Yes, not Mega Evolving there essentially does give you a little bit of a disadvantage in terms of being able to take the Gigavolt Havoc there.
Yeah, so now Jesdo does have just gotta go on Rock Slide flinches, I would assume.
We see the Metagross actually going down to that Gigavolt Havoc. I mean, JSDO, well, he's playing from the back end. I mean, it's really difficult for him to claw his way back up with the Gardevoir still sitting at the back. Although a little bit chipped, but it's not impossible because it is, of course, a Choice Scarf.
Absolutely, you're right. We also have one of our. Yeah, absolutely. We see one of the chat people saying timer's gonna be the issue, but I don't think Rockstar is gonna pick up any KOs at the moment because the Incineroar, the Landorus on JSDO side is at -2, if I'm not mistaken, from the Landorus and Incineroar Intimidate, and we do see Incineroar flinching, but I guess JSDO is just banking on Rock Slide flinches right now. He just got to press Rock Slide all the way. But if Chris G just lands another Dazzling Gleam from Coco, that's game over.
Gets game, yeah. And we'll obviously be moving into game 2 there.
And we do see Incineroar being switched out to Landorus. Yeah, because this basically seals up the deal, right? Coco just needs to go for a Protect right now. Let Landorus go down. If you could bring in Incineroar, go for a Rock Slide and Dazzling Gleam.
And I think Chris just recycling those Intimidates really proving dividend here.
Yep, you're right. And we do see Incineroar will come out here. We will bring the Landorus in particular to be at -3 or 4. I'm not sure. It's either one. We've lost track of the switches of the
he's just been
Intimidate.
recycling those Intimidates constantly.
But this is game lock, I would say. Just go for a Fake Out and Dazzling Gleam.
Yeah, it's pretty safe for Chris here, especially preserving the Incineroar as you mentioned. Of course, it's been pretty evident that Chris values that Fake Out support, as you said. So here, obviously sealing the deal for him.
Yep, Fake Out Gleam wins, absolutely. We'll have to see how this JSDO adapt in game 2 because I think Chris G has the sheer speed and offense is just working out for Chris, and I think he should stick to that plan.
Yeah, I think Chris just knew his game plan right off the bat, like leading with that Incineroar and Landorus and moving forward from there. It was pretty straightforward for him. JS having had to play from the back from I would say the beginning.
From the beginning, absolutely, because for you to always go second, that's already you're already in the back foot. Yeah.
Yeah. Chris's team just provides so much of offense compared to JS. I mean, he's running a little bit slower, bulkier team, and it suffers in
But
terms
the damage output that it is just not providing enough for the matchup.
Exactly.
Because Chris G can always cover it with the shuffle of Intimidates, with the U-turn and the Volt Switch. And also, JSDO did not manage to capitalize off the turn where Landorus was on the field in front of Coco and Incineroar, but he did not go for either Earth Rock Slide or EQ.
Right.
And Chris G just lands off a free Flare Blitz, which was even more damage output onto his Landorus, if you recall correctly.
Yes, I do. So how do you think JSDO actually can better adjust his position moving into game 2 here?
I'm not sure. I guess he's just gonna nab the Coco some way or another.
Yes.
Because I feel that Coco is the big threat on Chris G's side. That's his main offense. He's gotta protect that at all costs. Get Incineroar and Coco to be in a position where they could somewhere in the middle or the end game, get a Fake Out and a nuke off some way or another. And we do see double Intimidates this time onto the Landorus in particular. So the Landorus on JSDO side will be at -2, as Chris G's both Pokemon will be at -1, which is crucial for any damage calculations going into the Metagross.
JS actually swapping his first leads, leading with the Metagross and Landorus now instead of the Tapu Lele Metagross previously. But Chris actually going with the same leads. It worked for him the previous game. It was a great lead in my opinion.
Yep. No point changing
what worked.
What worked before, absolutely. I guess now maybe JSDO is just banking on the potential U-turn to Tapu Lele. We'll have to see how it goes because I don't know if Chris G's Incineroar is safe to go for a Fake Out right now.
Yes.
Maybe into Landorus, but Lele could come in from that slot.
Yeah, I
Either
think,
way.
I think JS making the Tapu Lele swap for that Landorus lead right now is actually really good for him because immediately intimidating Chris's two physical attackers on his side of the field will definitely, as you mentioned, prove to be in a way effective in the for damage calculation purposes.
Yep, and we do see Metagross going for a protect. Does Incineroar go for a fake onto Landorus? No, we do see a U-turn, just shuffling. And we do see a U-turn going onto Metagross in particular and a U-turn onto Incineroar.
Yeah, so actually trading U-turns there, but proving more successful obviously for GS, who
Yep.
connects. And
We might see, I presume either Rotom Heat or Tapu Lele.
I say Tapu Lele.
Yeah, no, because if you were to bring in Tapu Lele, right, Chris G could easily go for a U-turn and bring in Tapu Koko, and the Koko be a big
Well,
threat
yeah.
at turn
But
3.
yes, and of course you override the psychic terrain as well.
Yeah, it will override the Psychic Terrain because Metagross is not utilizing the Psychic Terrain now.
Yes, correct.
Yeah,
But we
like
do
I
see
said,
the Rotom come in here.
and we do see a Flabber's going onto Metagross. Wow, Chris G really wants that Metagross right now because he knows that that's the main damage output of GSU's team. If he could neutralize it, then Chris G is home run, I would say.
Yes, but of course now the Rotom is staring down against that Landorus from Chris's side, albeit of course at -1.
Yep, and we do because I don't think JSU can also switch out the Rotom to Tapu Lele because we know that the Landorus is locked into U-turn in particular.
Yep.
And the Incineroar is very free to go for Flare Blades onto the Metagross slot because Metagross protected earlier.
Yep.
Yeah. Maybe Rotom, if he has Volt Switch, if you have Volt Switch, you might want to Volt Switch into Incineroar.
Yes, I think Volt Switch would be very good here. Being able to Volt Switch and basically avoid the potential Rock Slide coming into
Yep.
that slot.
Wow, he does decide to Mega Evolve right now. I want to see whether does he go for a Stomping Tantrum onto Incineroar because I
Yes.
think, but it won't pick up the KO from there. You have to understand, it won't. It just won't. We do see a U-turn going onto the Metagross. We might just see Koko come in here because Koko quite a good position, I would say. But if you do bring Koko, yeah, like I said, you have to bring Koko in here.
Yes.
You need to pressure
Sure,
the Metagross.
yep, with that Gigavolt Havoc there, but we see the
Yep,
Stomping
Stomping
Tantrum
Tantrum.
does go up to the Incineroar slot there.
I don't think it'll pick up because it won't.
I don't think so.
Do we see a Thunderbolt going onto the Incineroar? It should, because I think that's what
He
he
wants
wants
to
prioritize.
double into that slot and prioritize
And
the
Chris G
Incineroar.
losing the Incineroar turn 2, that's big because Incineroar provides the fake out
Pick up
support
pressure,
and the intimidate. Yeah.
Yep. GS of course realizing that, you know, Chris definitely prioritizes the Incineroar and it was very evident in game 1, so having taken it out early on I think would prove effective for GS in the long run.
Yep. And Chris G's team synergy also revolves around the Incineroar, providing the intimidate to support the bulk of GSU's team. Now with one Pokemon down, being at 3 compared to GSU's 4, GSU has more potential switch-in options. He can switch in much more.
I would say he has more options now. Yeah, he knows if he because with Chris's side with one down, if he wanted to make any switch, he had only one option to switch into. If that makes sense.
Absolutely, you're right. We might just see Gardevoir being switched in or from the Landorus slot. If it worked before, I think Gardevoir should also be brought in. He just needs to prioritize knocking out the Metagross. That's why Chris G focused that Metagross turn 1 with a Flare Blitz, which is smart actually. But with that Metagross protecting turn 1, it's not paying out dividends. And we do see Gardevoir being switched in. Yep. And a
tracing
Volt.
levitating.
Wow. Okay, this is not bad actually. I like this play because now you get in your Landorus in front of a. Oh, but you have to lock yourself to Earthquake, by the way, because you have lost your Incineroar. Your only means of dealing damage to Metagross would be Koko and Landorus. And in this position, Landorus can't go for an Earthquake because your partner is Gardevoir.
Yes, who will take damage from it.
And also Koko in the back.
Yep.
So if
Will-O-Wisp actually coming out here.
Yeah, GS2 has just revealed Will-O-Wisp. If it had landed into the Landorus just now,
slot, yep.
then it would have been completely shut down. It would
a
have been
different story.
Absolutely. I still feel Koko has to come in here somewhere.
Koko, I think Koko needs to come in. I mean, you need to pressure that Metagross immediately. I mean, getting it off the field would ensure that Chris would definitely.
No, the Koko would have come. You're right.
Yes. It'll have to come in. I mean, you definitely need to pressure the Metagross. It's just, if you can get rid of that Metagross, you definitely have a better board position. I mean, you get rid of a huge offensive threat from JSD's side of the field.
Yeah, but with the loss of Incineroar, it's quite an uphill battle for Chris G to do so. And we do see JSD recognizing that Metagross is one of his win conditions. He's immediately retreating it into his own Landorus. and she's trying to intimidate by Gardevoir. If he does decide to go for a Mega Evolution here and dish off an Hyper Voice or a Side Shock, he needs to chip damage, but he might also be threatened by the potential Iron Head play from the Metagross before this. And we do see Gardevoir U-turn coming out from the Landorus, going on to GSDO's Landorus, bringing Coco for sure. We'll have to see. I still think Gardevoir will go for Hyper Voice. He needs to dish off damage somewhere.
I think it's a pretty safe Hyper Voice actually.
Yeah, because Metagross prior to this was intimidated by the Landorus Intimidate.
Yep.
And we do see Hyper Voice being dished out. Rotom took that like a champ. Yeah, with the resistance, and we do see a Will-O-Wisp going on to the Tapu Koko slot.
Yeah, what was previously actually the Landorus slot.
GSDO is just playing safe at the moment because that slot was free to get Will-O-Wisp regardless. If you do nab the Koko, then any chip damage I guess will go in the long way.
As you can see, Gardevoir having already been burned, taking a bit of chip damage there. We have a little bit of technical error once more. We apologize.
Yeah, both players haven't decided their turn, but currently on the board field it's Rotom Heat and Landorus Therian. Both are in the yellow zone.
Yeah, and Tapu Koko and Gardevoir for Chris's side of the field with that, both actually still relatively healthy.
Yep. From what I can see here, Koko does go for a Protect. Tapu Koko does go for a Protect, and we do see Earthquake being dished out by the Landorus. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, we are back. You can see the Earthquake being launched off. Yeah.
And we do see Gardevoir does dish off the Hyper Voice freely. If it does trigger the Rotom Heat's berry, it will trigger the 50% berry.
And it will be...
it should be the Wiki berry, if I recall correctly. Yep. Rotom Heat does live the turn, and that's very important.
But of course, GSDO, they're actually losing its Landorus during that turn. Will-O-Wisp is actually going into that Tapu Koko slot that protected.
He could have been calling the potential Landorus
switch in. Yep.
Could happen.
I mean, that's the only thing I can think of. I mean, why Will-O-Wisp into two Pokemon that has already been burned?
Yep, and we do see Tapu Lele coming out on the field right now. But the Tapu Lele is in a very weird position because Koko and Gardevoir, every Pokemon at Chris G's side of the team outspeeds Tapu Lele. So I don't know if Chris G is going to prioritize knocking on Tapu Lele because I want to say like in the term where the Rotom Heat will be on the field, right?
Yep.
And then you have Metagross in the back.
Yep.
Chris G has Landorus in the back. He must lock himself into one thing, but if he locks himself into, let's say, Earthquake, he can't touch Rotom Heat. If he locks himself into Rock Slide, he can't touch Metagross.
Yeah, and I think that JS here wants to prioritize getting rid of the Tapu Koko
Tapu
first.
Koko,
the
but
Tapu Koko definitely.
It comes down to can he lift the hit from Koko, or does Rotom Heat lift the hit from Koko? We do see Volt Switch going on
to the Rotom there.
Yeah, we have to see whether does Gardevoir go for a Psy Shock or Psychic?
Psychic, I believe.
Psychic. Does he go for a Psychic in Psychic terrain onto Rotom Heat? If he does, I think he sealed the game.
Yeah, I think he would need to. You might risk your Landorus getting burned there.
Absolutely. We do see Gardevoir. What does he go for? Does he go for a Psychic onto the Rotom Heat? I think that spells game because that spells game. Yeah, because he needed to nab off the Rotom Heat. So it comes down to can Lele and Metagross dish off enough damage onto Landorus and Koko.
I think it's going to be really difficult for GS here because not only are you providing the Psychic terrain for the Gardevoir, but at the same time, you still have Tapu Koko on Chris's side at the back.
Yeah, and he has
relatively healthy.
Healthy, and you will get the terrain advantage along with the Z move.
Yes,
you have to understand that.
Yes, you're burned, but it's sitting healthy at the back, and if you swap it in, you get rid of the Psychic terrain effectively, and the Metagross and Tapu Lele just will not be able to. Yeah,
I don't think GSDO just was confident enough that Tapu Lele will survive that turn. And we do see an Earthquake being dished out from the Landorus. It will do a good amount of damage onto Tapu Lele and Metagross, which Koko could clean up later.
Yes, I mean Chris here just. I mean, it's really difficult for GS. I don't think there's really anything he can do right now.
Yeah, with the Landorus being locked into Earthquake, by the way.
Yep.
I think GSDO is just trying to say like, hey look, if your Earthquake can knock out my Tapu Lele in the following turn, then that's game.
Yeah.
Oh, no, he's going on to Landorus. Sorry, my bad. It comes down to Koko and Gardevoir versus Lele and Metagross.
Yes, but we do see Landorus critical hit, but I don't think it really mattered in victory. But we see the Landorus being going down here and Tapu Koko actually coming in. Oh, but you see the Gardevoir is already put on the timer, but yeah, the Metagross immediately pressuring the Gardevoir, but really both mons actually burn here.
I don't think the burn
Really matters for the Tapu Koko.
because now I think Jesus is going to go for double protect, but the Coco, if he does have the Z move, it's going to go into the Metagross slot for sure. Because Chris G can make this play because the Gardevoir outspeeds the Tapu Lele. If the Tapu Lele outspeeds the Gardevoir, it would have been a different story altogether. But yeah, it comes down to can Tapu Lele knock out both of Coco and Gardevoir?
Yeah. But
By any means, yeah.
I think the Tapu Koko would just be able to clean up this game. There's really not much that JS can do. I mean, if you look at his options, the Gardevoir can easily just go for a Hyper Voice, and the Tapu Koko can just I mean, if you want to add it to the assault, you can actually dish out your Gigavolt Havoc as well.
No, he has to onto the Metagross slot.
Yeah.
I'm saying into the Metagross slot, Gardevoir gets a free Hyper Voice because regardless, if Lily goes for
Yep.
Protect,
And
Coco and Gardevoir can whack it next turn.
yeah, I mean, Metagross goes for Protect here. Well, Chris actually going for Thunderbolt.
Making a
into the Tapu Lele.
prediction. Thunderbolt is going to Lily and that spells game.
I mean, JS had to protect that Metagross. I mean, but if Chris wanted to be safe, he could have easily Gigavolt Havoc into the Metagross spell, and then following turn he could have cleaned up the Tapu Lele either way.
Yeah, because we said the Havoc because we weren't confident with the Thunderbolt damage onto Tapu Lele. Because we saw it took significant amounts of damage on the physical side from the Landorus. But yeah, maybe I'm underestimating Landorus in particular, but still, I would assume that the Landorus on GS Geo side would be rather bulky per se.
Yep. But
Yep.
yeah, I mean, yeah, the Gigavolt Havoc there ending the game for
And this brings
GS
Chris
Geo.
G onto top 4.
Yeah, I thought Chris played really well, and he knew his win conditions from the start. GSU was just playing from the backhand all the way, I think.
Yep.
He did adjust better, I would think, in the second game, but it just wasn't enough.
Just not landing off the Will-O-Wisp, which was very crucial against the Landorus. The Landorus was just able to U-turn, switch manually. It's just something GSU can't control, I would say.
Yeah, and I think Chris making the calls, knowing when the Will-O-Wisp was coming and being able to pivot himself out of that situation, I think he played pretty well that game.
Absolutely. Yeah, and big congratulations to Chris G for progressing into top 4. And we'll have a winner's interview shortly with Chris G. And he should be facing off with
One Akil from Malaysia.
one Akil from Malaysia,
Yeah,
absolutely.
who you saw during the previous stream there.
Yep, and this is our top 4 bracket right now. We have Akil going up against Chris G, as well as Wilson Fong against Benjamin Tan. We will feature both top 4 matches on the stream.
Yes, of course, with One Akil and Chris G there, we have a Malaysian, Australian, and for the following top 4 match, we have 2 Singaporeans actually going head to head.
Yeah, so it's definitely an international roulette right now. We'll have to see which country does bring home the title, but yeah, we'll have a winner's
Chris G.
interview with Chris G after this. So we'll see you soon with that interview.